Here's a professionally made but unnecessary intro. So let's talk about figs. Let's talk about figs.
Well, here we are with another riveting episode of the Figologist Fig Tasting Series. And this time we're going to highlight the in-ground version of Mehdi's famous fig. About 10 days ago, I trialed the potted version, which was in a 25-gallon pot. This was the same size, but this went in the ground in March of this year after being in a similar sized pot. So today is August 13th, so we're 10 days after the first potted Mehdi's was ready to go. So, I showed this in the previous video, but I intentionally put this along a retaining wall for heat. It did not have a head start before going in the ground this year. And so I do have a few that I've caprified, so we'll see what those look like. But for August, we're talking about some decent sized main crop figs. But I want to review the Breba because here in the Pacific Northwest, it's a shorter growing season, about 225-day growing season. And here we have the trifecta, 3 on 1 node. And you're starting to see just a little bit of honey on that one. And then quite a bit of honey on that one. And so you can see the difference, like this is not ripe. This is getting there, but if you look at the neck, it still looks like this one. So this one is not ripe yet, but this one is ripe. And I'm going to take that one. These were organza bagged. This one is chonky also. Trying not to disturb the other two. Okay, so what we've got, a little bit of an open eye, but some crystallized sugar there. So let's go take a look and see what that will taste like here in a minute. But just to kind of go over what we're looking at again here, this is about a 5-foot-ish tree. Beautiful, healthy leafing pattern. Interestingly, more than one kind of leaf, which is not uncommon with younger trees. Another Breba covered there. Technically, this ripened yesterday. There was a Breba right here, but I saw an ant and I panicked, so I took it, and it was good. But let's, you've got 2 over there. So again, decent sized Breba production, nothing super prolific, but for a first year, basically in ground, I'm pretty happy with that production. And so, yeah, this was basically to say, will this tree ripen in the Pacific Northwest, Zone 9A? Will it ripen Breba? The answer is yes, it will ripen Breba. Let's go taste it and compare it to what we saw on the potted version 10 days ago. All right, well, let's take a look at this Mehdi's famous fig from a first year in ground, about 4th year overall tree. And you can see the glistening, it's actually crystallized. This happened on another of my potted Mehdi's. Don't mind if I do. Well, no. Little bit of an open eye. That was not the case with the potted one. Let's weigh it and see what we're dealing with here. So about 70 grams. So that's a decent size, respectable. Let's take a look at what it looks like. So this one, not a lot to trim off. The neck was pretty darn translucent and ripe. I did see an earwig near it, so I killed it because you don't get in the way of my figs and me. Okay, so a little tough right at the ostiole there, So let's take a look. So similar to the potted one, you get this kind of purple coloration around the outside. You can see a little bit of toughening at the ostiole itself. This may have been a day overripe. Let's take a sample, and like we've done before, we're going to play Guess That Bricks so that I don't bias myself. So we're going to drop that right there. I'm not going to turn it on. And then I'm going to, off camera, take that ostiole part off, fling that into the nether, and let's go ahead and taste Mehdi's famous fig, Breba, in ground.
Nobody wants to hear gross sounding fig chewing into a microphone.
Okay. Delicious. And I'm going to say this is going to be about a bricks of 22.8. Wow, that's surprising. It tastes way sweeter than that. I'm going to be posting a progression of the figs on the potted Mehdis of what happened over time. There's still a couple left, but I've been taking basically a video diary and showing the difference in bricks levels. This one tastes sweeter than the bricks would indicate. Very similar notes to the previous tasting on the potted one. Kind of a brown sugar, mapley, caramely, honey up front. It kind of, for me, still goes into a little bit of a blackberry, moderate seed crunch. As we tasted, my family and I tasted more of these, what we began noticing is the skin texture definitely has this like snap to it. It's chewy, but not like in a fibrous, stringy way. Like it just has a nice little bite, and when your teeth get through it, it just pops. Um, Maybe as they get a little more dried on the tree, is it a little more leathery? But this is still just a delectable fig. I mean, it is. It's more complex than a honey fig. I know I was talking to Eric Lofton about this, and by talking I mean messaging each other on Facebook. This is not like what I would categorize as a honey fig. I think that there's something more to this. Um, I'll obviously pass this through my wife and older child and see what they think. But this is very similar to what we've been tasting on the potted version of the Mehdis. Um, it's what's nice is there's not a lot of like spillage. Like it has a heft to it, a density to it, and it really holds on to the rind. Like this isn't one where you'll see the rind pulling away from the actual meat of the fig. This is very, very bound between the skin and what's right underneath it. So, I continue to be horribly biased, and that think this is a fantastic fig. I'm excited that this can ripen in the Pacific Northwest in the ground. The true test to me will be what happens with the main crop. Last year potted, I got main crop at the end of September. We are a little bit earlier this year, and so I'm hoping that will still be indicative that we can get a September or October ripening for the main crop. But I'll check back in. I'm gonna post the video diary soon on the last of the potted Breba to see what those look like as they evolve. Keep tasting, obviously. Mehdi, not my dad, but the fig. You get a thumbs up because you are a delicious fig. See y'all later.